The final round of the 2019 Comeup Xtreme Winch Challenge series was held on the Springate Property east of Tamworth on the last weekend in October. Darius, Crick and Rooke were at their second Comeup XWC event for the year and were sitting in 5th after the 3 Friday night stages. In stage 5 they finished 4th, their best stage result for the weekend. Unfortunately, they'd break a control arm in the Crick run on Saturday afternoon, and that'd give them a DNF for the stage. The next morning, they'd again face troubles, this time with bent steering. They managed to straighten it enough to finish stage 9, but recorded a DNF for stage 10. And unfortunately for them, they finished the event at the bottom of the leaderboard in 9th. Like Crick, John Adamson is in a Landcruiser 80 series, and he was also back for another crack at a Comeup XWC event. But he too would have bad luck, breaking a tail shaft in Special Stage 6. But he'd performed well on the stage before that, with some spirited driving in the creek bed. But with 2 DNFs and 2 stages where he failed to start, he was relegated down the leaderboard to finish 8th for the weekend. Possibly the tallest car in the series was the Toyota Hilux of Mike Grima and Terry Adams. In stage 5, they were 4th quickest, but a 30-point penalty would drop them back to a final position of 6th on stage. On Saturday's final stage, the Hilux would take the award for the most spectacular drive. Rolling the car, landing back on all 4 wheels, and then finishing in 5th outright. Navigator Terry Adams was a last-minute stand-in, and the pairing managed 7th for the weekend. Bowden and Aaron Melville were relative newcomers to the XWC family and were fronting up for their second XWC in 2019. The daytime stages is where they excelled, finishing 3rd in Special Stage 5 by driving both the creek exits without needing the winch. Rain at the start of Stage 7 wouldn't dampen their spirits, and once again they showed their form, finishing the multi-truck stage without penalty to once again score 3rd in the stage. In the final Super Special stage on Sunday, they'd again be penalty-free. This time they were 4th quickest, but after other teams suffered penalties, they'd finish stage 10 in 3rd. And if it hadn't been for an issue preventing them from starting stage 3, they would have finished much higher than their eventual 6th outright for the weekend. There was a different lineup for the Wyong Automatic Transmission Service FJ45 this weekend. Regular driver Rod Rathbone was out of action, and navigator and brother Russell Rathbone had upgraded to the driver's seat for round 5. But it was still an all-family affair, with Rod's son Josh, Russ's nephew, pulling the winch rope. But a tricky winch puzzle would see them score a DNF on the first of the morning stages. They had the theory right, but failed the practical, with the winch not wanting to play nicely. Some hairy winch climbs on Saturday afternoon would have the team on their toes and lifting some wheels, putting on a great show for the crowd. Sunday's Super Special stage would see the Rathbone team make up some ground in the first half, but a less than perfect winch alignment in the second half of the stage would let them down. And they'd have to be satisfied with 5th overall for the weekend. Pete Bannister and Tim Simpson in the Ford Maverick, aka the Mav, were one of the favourites to take out the series, but didn't start the night stage as well, so needed to make up time during the daytime tests. And on the first of the morning stages, they finished with top points, thanks to their rivals' penalties and despite only finishing 4th quickest. A win on the next stage would set them up well for the afternoon, but a 30-point penalty would drop them from 2nd fastest to 6th in terms of points. And it could have all ended in disaster when a near rollover in the final stage on Saturday was saved by some quick thinking. Bannister was 2nd fastest in the first half of the final Sunday Super Stage, but clearly he was determined to roll the Mav, successfully putting it on its roof away from the view of our cameras. We only got to see the aftermath, and the Mav would finish the weekend's competition in 4th outright. Dave and Pat Burroughs are a local father and son team from Tamworth and are regular competitors at the Comeup XWC. Going into Saturday's stages, they were nicely sitting in 2nd outright and looking good for a win. In stage 6, they were quickest on times, but a 10-point penalty dropped them back into 3rd position. They'd make up for it in stage 8, taking the win with some excellent teamwork, getting the farm truck to the top of the winch walls. And also up and through the tight and technical gully without taking out any of the many course markers. On the final stage, they tipped the FJ45 Landcruiser on its side. This could have been the end of the road for the locals, but the time lost getting it back on its wheels was made up when Burroughs drove the middle winch wall. A 10-point penalty in the final section wasn't ideal, but with just over 40 points separating them from 2nd, they'd have to settle for bottom place on the podium in 3rd outright. Another father and son team would be on the podium for round 5. The Warhope-based Jilg racing team of Peter and Jaden Jilg would work well together in each of the 10 stages. Only one 10-point penalty over the entire weekend. They took no risks and were more conservative than many of their rivals. But it was a move that would pay off. They weren't the fastest all weekend, but their consistency would be rewarded. The GQ Patrol has only been racing in the Comeup XWC since the beginning of 2019, so we can expect to see a lot more from this team in the future. In the Super Sunday stage, the Gilg Racing team continued that consistency they'd shown on Saturday. They were third quickest in SS10, but with penalties applied to other teams, they grabbed 94 points to seal their second on the podium. But the top place on the podium, and really it was no surprise, was Team Ranger. Not only did they win round 5, they also took out the series in what can only be described as a consistent and a determined drive at each of the 4 rounds they took part in. In 6 of the 10 stages over the weekend, they scored a maximum 100 points and were clear winners, 52 points ahead of Gilg Racing. Paul Semmons and Nathan Mills are no strangers to winning this event, and they once again showed that they are the team to be measured against. What's amazing is that they broke 2 CVs in the GU Patrol and had them fixed ready for the next stage. Such is their drive to win. Organiser David Metcalf summed up the event perfectly.
Fantastic weekend. It has been real good. It's been a great series. So yeah, very pleased about this year's, and I'm looking forward to 2020. Bring it on.
We'll see you all next year when we do another 5 rounds of the Comeup Xtreme Winch Challenge Series.